What's up, everybody, and Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, all the things. We're so glad that you're listening to us on this special edition of the Nerd BS podcast. BS stands for Bad Santa, one of the greatest Christmas movies of all time, starring Billy Bob Thornton and Bernie Mac. And not really. That's not what BS stands for. And it's not really one of the best Christmas movies of all time. It's pretty funny. It's okay. What BS stands for, though, is the backstory. And we're glad you're listening to us. My name is Kyle, and with me, as always, we have Alan.
Hey, and I want you to take that back. Bad Santa is amazing.
Fair enough. We will talk about that later, then. Maybe it'll come back up. And then we also have Tomas.
I'll give you that it was better than 2. I don't know about amazing, though. So,
Bad Santa 2? Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did not get. I don't know if I started that one or if I didn't get through it, but
No,
no,
it was
thank
not
you.
that good. It was not that good. You're not missing
And-
any.
Yeah, I believe it. And then with us today, we have a very special guest with us, none other than the amazing Skylar. Say hi to the people.
Hello.
And Skylar is the son of Alan, and that's almost like Odinson, right? Allenson. That's what
Odinson, yeah, exactly.
We'll just say that's your last name, Allenson.
He has a hammer just like Thor that I monitor.
Nice. Very good. Yeah. Hopefully he's doing actual construction work with that hammer too. So, but no, we're glad you're with us, Skylar. We just because this is a special Christmas episode, we decided to bring a very special guest, and we're glad you're with us today, man. I know you're going to talk about some cool stuff regarding Christmas and some games surrounding it. And so let's jump into it. Let me just start before we get into the news. I just want to say Merry Christmas to you guys. I'm really glad that we're all together.
Merry Christmas! This is amazing, and I do want to give a shout out to your wife because those rockin' tunes at the beginning, that was all thanks to her, from what I've understood, and they sound amazing, and we're blessed to have them. So, thank you.
Yeah, appreciate that. My wife Melissa, who does listen to this on occasion, she is a music teacher, and so it's kind of a fun thing for her whenever I ask her to do. She did the original intro song, and then this Christmas one, and I'm sure she'll do another one if we ask her. She enjoys doing it, and so the first time she made it, it sounded like I listened to it. I was like, this sounds like a Crash Bandicoot. This is what this music sounds like, and I was like, it needs more Christmas vibes. And then she came up with what you guys heard at the intro. I was like, okay, that's spot on. That's great. And so, yeah, we appreciate it, Melissa, my wife. We love you.
Yeah, thank you for all your help, Melissa. And also to everyone out there, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and thank you for joining us. So
that's the show. We'll catch you guys next time next year.
Christmas treat was it's very short.
Thank you, Skylar, for coming. We hope you had a good time.
I'm glad to be here.
I hope the trip wasn't too long for you, bud.
Anyways,
all right, yeah, let's get into the news this week. We actually have some interesting articles this week, and let's start with the good, and we'll end with the ugly this week. And so the good this week is that Among Us is now on the Game Pass, Xbox Game Pass, but only for PC. And as I understand, it will come to console in 2021. But it did release for the Nintendo Switch. That does seem like a really good game for the Switch. However, I know a couple of you guys have played it already. Why don't you guys talk about that?
Yeah, I've actually played with Skylar here and a couple friends from online. I've been trying to get other people involved with it, but it's been very difficult since it's not on console, and most of the people I play games with, like these 2 or 3 people, we all play on console. My son plays on his phone. I played on my phone for a little bit, but it just never felt right without it being on a console, because that's usually where I like to play games. So when it came out on Switch, I had to buy it, and I'm trying to convince more people to get it. But the bonus with this game is that it's still free on mobile and they're all cross-play. So that means if you have the one person who's hesitant, you just tell them, download it on your phone. Let's play a couple rounds and see if you like it. But it's a really fun game. It's I kind of like to think of it like a board game. It's like a real good board game that's taken it onto the video game realm, where you basically have a group of people, and one of you or two of you, depending, is an alien that is trying to eat the rest of them. And so at the same time, everybody else has to do chores around the ship, which keeps the ship going. So the idea is,
You're trying to eat them?
yes, so one person is trying to eat them or, kill them, whatever you want to say. And while everybody else is trying to keep the ship going, any one of the other people is able to cause a meeting where everybody gets to plead their case of who got killed, how they got killed, and then do evidence on who they think it is and whatnot until you basically get to the last couple people, or you solve who the alien is, or you get rid of them.
I'm downloading it right now on my phone. So
Yeah.
Oh, really?
We should
Yeah.
check it out. It's really fun. I'm gonna get it on Switch as well. It's just a fun game.
I'm gonna see how fun this is. I just downloaded it, so
Okay, it's light. One of the things though is you really have to have people to play with. That's a big. You can play
Yeah.
with randoms online, but it's just not as much fun.
Yeah, I've heard that, and it's got to be people that you know, and that makes
Yeah.
it a lot better.
hmm
I think
Like I
that's
said,
kind
it's
of
like
what
a
you said.
board game, which would make it a lot more fun. Like if you got a group of people like in your house and you all get it on your phone, I think that would be a blast. Or with like Switches, I think that would be really fun to be able to take those meetings in the game and do them like in person. While you have that one person who's kind of shifty and trying to like hide the fact that he just killed your aunt that's in the room with you in the game. I think that'd be great.
Does
That should
sound fun.
yeah, you have anything you want to say, Skylar, about this? Because I know you play a lot.
You summed it up really nice. You can call the meetings by either finding a dead body or calling the meeting with the button in the middle of the map. They're making a new map, which is based off of another one of Innersloth Productions, the Henry Stickmin games.
I don't think I've ever heard of Henry Stickmin. Huh.
new map though.
Interested. We'll have to check it out. Definitely.
New content's always fun. So
Mm-hmm.
Are there any points or something that you could earn for playing this game, or is it mostly just kind of like let's get together and mess around?
There's nothing you can earn. It's just you play, have fun. You can get extra skin stuff, but other than that, you just play, have fun.
I will give Among Us credit. They're one of the few microtransaction games that everything is labeled accordingly with actual prices with dollar amounts, and it's straightforward. No loot boxes. Like, hey, you pay $2.99, you get this, and so I give it to them. And there's no battle pass or anything like that. It's very simple. It's there, but it's not invasive.
does what you buy like make you better in the game? Because that always kind of frustrates me too.
It's 100% cosmetic.
No, it's just aesthetic, nothing else.
That's why it's our good news. It's a free game on mobile. I think it's $5 on Switch.
Yeah, it's $5.
I'll probably get that version because I like having games on my Switch. And I mean, it's basically coming out for everything. So, is it on the PS4? Does Sony have it?
No, I haven't heard anything about the PS4. I heard about the Switch, and then this popped up today, I think. So it made me curious. I'm assuming next is the PS4. I would hope that they get on board with.
Yeah, it might skip that one. Not a big deal because you could just get it on your phone. So
It's happened in the past.
it is, but it's good news for the rest of us. So let's move on to the bad news this holiday season. And it kind of ties in with, our Mando cast, if you've been listening to it. It's based on Star Wars. Now, Alan, you found this article. Why don't you introduce it? I have a couple things I want to say about it, but you seem to know more about it.
Yeah, I'm curious
Wow.
about some stuff.
It's not a very deep article. Essentially, what's happening is we're getting more catering to the Chinese audience, because of the way China is. with their government and a heavy control. They really censor and control anything coming in to their country. So a lot of these studios, including Disney, almost all of them, most notoriously Disney, also the NBA is notoriously known for this. They cater a lot of their stuff to the Chinese audience and be very careful what they say about their government. And they also make things, like I said, specifically for them. In this case, they made Mulan that was supposed to target, which a lot of people had issues with, not because of the targeting, but the movie itself was not that great, from what I've understood. I haven't seen it myself. But this is one of the first things that's kind of popped up where they're specifically targeting, they're releasing content focused specifically to the Chinese audience, probably going through some sort of checks and balances before it gets there. But this supposedly will never be, well, not, we don't know never. They say there's no plans to release it anywhere else besides China and in Chinese. So they don't really have a plan for an English adaptation or anything like that currently, which to me is kind of a weird move by Disney, even though we know exactly why it's happening. It's also very shady that it is happening with China's history.
Okay, well here's my thing on that, is that I don't necessarily know that this is honestly a bad thing, and maybe it's because I'm not quite understanding exactly what's happening here, but I know that, for example, DC has numerous comic books, and I think even Marvel has numerous comic books that are done in Japan that are never seen here, and it's not like we're missing anything. In fact, I remember seeing Batman Ninja, and it's good in that it's done in a very Japanese style, but me not really appreciating Japanese style, I didn't really like it. And so if it's being made for the Chinese in a Chinese style, we don't even know if the Western culture is going to appreciate it.
That's a fair point. That's a really good point because there's a lot of different tastes. However, if we've learned from, at least from video games, I'll just take that as an example, that they changed a lot of the artwork. And I'm talking about like older games in the '90s, especially like the RPGs that started coming out, and they didn't do so well at first. There's a whole gaming historian, if you watch him on YouTube, great guy, by the way, great videos, that he talks about Final Fantasy and how hard it was to kind of launch in the West. But now that it's huge over here now, and it's just you kind of have to adapt it to this culture a little bit. But at the same time, I think there's a huge, I'm looking at the artwork, and I don't know if this is legit, but this is on the article from IGN that you sent us, Alan, and the artwork looks fantastic. I love it. It does look like a Japanese, and I know this isn't Japanese, but it looks like a Japanese RPG with lightsabers, except for the Wookiee picture. There's a Wookiee holding a lightsaber, and I'm sorry, I just can't see Chewbacca holding a lightsaber. It looks wrong. But other than that, it looks fantastic. So it sounds like that's what they're doing, Tomas, and I think you're right. Like, we're gonna focus on this market. It just doesn't make sense. Like, why you wouldn't translate it and just at least try it out in this one?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Exactly. That's I know where you guys are coming from. Yes, it's nice that they're making something catered to the Chinese audience in a way, but at the same time, it kind of moves more towards the big entertainment companies really focusing on the Chinese market, which is very big in the sense where there's a lot of money there. But with what China has done recently with their internment camps and other basic crimes against our world in a way, and also the whole thing with Hong Kong and everything like that, it just kind of shows more how basically if there's money, it doesn't really matter what they do as long as they're willing to give us money. That's kind of what I was leaning towards more. But at the same time, I'm also with Kyle on the fact that I don't like that they get something that we don't get, just like I don't like that we would get something that they don't get, because it's been shown in the past with anime and everything else that just because certain people think that it won't do well overseas doesn't mean it won't. Like JRPGs, if we got the way they were originally intending with JRPGs, we would have not got JRPGs very often, which, of course, nowadays they're huge. So it's just another thing, like why it's not difficult to translate as much as it used to be.
Okay, fair enough, but there would be some well, then the same story is not being told. It's not the same thing, you know. I mean, there are
Well, if you
people.
look at the article, it specifically says it's involved in the new canon.
Mm.
So it does matter. It is involved.
That was going to be the other thing for me, was that does it even affect what's really going on in the Star Wars universe? But I guess
It
that
may not
answers
affect
that.
the entire
So.
story, but it does say that it is going to be intertwined with the canon. So it may not affect something major because that doesn't mean it's, oh no, we're going to find out that apparently Luke had Excalibur or something. No, I doubt it'll be something that major. It'd be something really small that probably doesn't matter that much.
No, I mean, fair enough, and there I'll agree with you. I think if you're gonna make it part of the canon universe, you should make it accessible to everyone. Like the Batman thing in the comics that I was talking about, that's an Elseworld comic, so it's not even technically part of the actual storylines.
So let's move on then to the ugly news. And we haven't been talking about this, at least in the last podcast, on purpose, because none of us are playing it. None of us have it. And it looks like we might not even have the chance to in the near future. And the ugly news this week is that Cyberpunk has been removed from pretty much every online store, like Sony and Microsoft stores. So you can't download the game. Also, CD Projekt Red has issued a full refund if you have bought the game at all. If and don't like it, you can return it opened, unopened, and get your money back. And it's a mess because they forgot to tell retailers that they're doing this, and now everyone's having to backpedal, including Sony and Microsoft, and they're releasing statements. Microsoft or Sony or both have announced that they will offer free digital refunds, which is like unprecedented. This is like changing the gaming in a bad way, in my opinion.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
So the main problem with why Sony took it. Okay, so I don't know about Microsoft. I actually don't know if they took it off.
Oh,
Maybe you
they
read something I
did.
didn't. They did as
They
well.
did.
It
Mhm.
was rumored that they were going to follow suit real quick. People went on PlayStation Marketplace or the Sony Marketplace, and it was just gone. If you had it on your Xbox or your PlayStation, you still had it, but it sounds like they're worried. Apparently, if you actually get a refund for the game and then disconnect your console entirely from the internet, it is possible to still play it. So they're worried about that, and so that's why they took it off entirely. That's a theory. That's a theory. That's not what they said. That's a theory.
All right.
I
Well,
really make that clear.
if that's the truth, if that is the truth, though, that just frustrates the crap out of me because yes, CD Projekt Red obviously has really messed up. But when you do stuff like that, then there are repercussions for it, like Sony taking it off. Like it's just like, oh man.
Yeah, this is a company.
Yeah.
The big thing about this company too is this is a company I actually had quite a bit of respect for. Even though I didn't play the Witcher games, I respected a lot of their practices. But this kind of really opens up the hood, and you really see how much of a mess they are. And they're just like every other company, which kind of, I guess, at some point, it seems that every company ends up showing its light, and you get to see the dirty undercoating eventually.
Yeah,
But
and I have to retract what I said. Microsoft has not pulled Cyberpunk off yet.
okay,
What I read was that they expanded the refund policy, and so it's even easier to get a refund for it.
that's
And
good.
they might even pull it. It seems like that's
Yeah,
kind of the push. But yeah, and here's the thing that bugs me about this. I was thinking about this when you posted it in outline, was that think about someone that buys, and because I'm thinking of someone like me. I bought a PS4 a couple years ago, so several years after launch. I'll probably do the same with PS5, maybe a little bit sooner. I don't buy consoles right out the get go, and sometimes even when they're long and dead, I go and get them, and then I pick up some of the top games for it and play it. And I'm imagining someone that buys PS4, a used PS4 5 years from now, and goes, "I want to play Cyberpunk." That game, without the updates, that base game is going to be unplayable for
Yep.
a lot of the consoles. It's just not going to
Yeah.
work. And and if they shut down servers, you're not going to this game's because they publish the game unless they like recall and read. That's what bothers me. And there's a lot of games. Every game nowadays gets an update, right? But they're at least playable. The base game is playable. So yeah,
This
it's
definitely
ugly.
kind of shows a light on our generation of gaming. Just this game alone had almost 70 gigs of updates. There was like a 40
Oh.
gig on
I did
day
not know that.
0, like a 25 or something gig on day 1, and that's not even including the patches coming up. They basically told their fan base at first was like, "Oh, well, you could get a refund, or if you wait till January, we're gonna have another update." No, if you sell me a game, it should be a game. It shouldn't be
Yeah.
like that one movie. The thing you took with the jigsaw puzzle that was like only half made. It's like you're selling me a product that I'm
Oh
supposed
yeah.
to be able to use. What?
Yeah, there's a lot of memes and videos out there right now, like comparing it.
Yeah, like I agree with you guys on many of these points. It is sad and it's disappointing because I really did enjoy The Witcher, and I really was looking forward to Cyberpunk. But one thing that I will say, one silver lining that at least I am seeing out of all of this is at least Microsoft and Sony are not being jerks about it and being like, "Oh well, we're not gonna do what CD Projekt Red said. We're just gonna leave you screwed with it." Like,
Yeah, because there's actually a lot of cases right now. Because I know we're in the whole we're older, well, except for Skylar, but we're used to this fact where when you purchase a game, as soon as you get home and open it, you can't return that game. And now this right here either forces them to do that or else get clout, and without even CD Projekt Red making any initiative with them to set it up. And so you have people who purchase a purchase game and trying to take it back to your retail store when we have this this taboo where you're not supposed to take it back after you've opened it.
yeah, and I'm saying that at least Sony and Microsoft said, "Whoa, at least digitally we can fix this much."
Yeah, because technically on their end, I don't think it costs them anything, more because they're just returning the money. I could be completely wrong, but that's what I'm assuming.
I'm pretty sure it's free just to put it back on the card.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think it costs them anything, but yeah, I could be
That
wrong.
charge, but I follow someone on Twitch, and I'll just give him a shout out because he's awesome. He goes by DS Koopa on Twitch. Runs this. I'm sure I've talked about him before on here.
Yeah, I think so.
But he runs a video game store in Seattle and streams almost every night. And he he's like, I bought too many copies of Cyberpunk. I thought it was going to be a big game, and now with all this, he's like, I don't have that. I can't return these to to CD Projekt Red, to the publisher. I don't get that benefit. So now I have these games that no one's buying. And luckily there's a community surrounding him that have bought a few, but he still has a few copies left over. So
this is the problem: is CD Projekt Red gave out a blanket statement that doesn't address any of this stuff, and it's like they should be taking all these copies back. They should be taking a huge hit on this. And sadly, if it does make them go under, I'm sorry, you made this mess up. You need to take care of it.
No, I think I agree with you. And in that fact, it's so disappointing to me because I was really looking forward to Cyberpunk. I was really looking forward to it.
Yeah, and we'll play it. We'll get to play the game one day because it'll be fixed.
Oh, I know. It's just the disappointment,
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I was talking
agree.
to my wife today, and I was watching a video, and I wanted to give a shout out as well. But a lot of shout outs for this one because there's a lot of articles flouting around it. RGT85 on YouTube. There's a great breakdown that he has of the whole debacle. It's really cool, the video. But
that guy doesn't breathe.
Yeah,
So
he
he just talks straight through the video. It's great.
he's great. I love him. But
I do
anyways,
like him. Yeah.
my wife was I was watching it and she's just, we were talking about Christmas and stuff while it was happening. And she was like, I almost bought you that game for Christmas. And I was like,
Ooh.
what? It's like, yeah, I saw you were like interested in it. So I almost picked it up and I'm really glad I didn't. And I was like, oh, I am too.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So apparently we dodged a bullet, but yeah, there you go.
Yeah. It's very ugly. I don't think any of us want it to go under, but that is our ugly news of the week. Let's jump into let's get in. I want to hear from Skylar now. So we're going to go into video games, and we're getting into the Christmas stuff, right? We talked about the news this week, and we need to know. So none of us old geezers play Fortnite, and we understand that you do. We want to know: is there a Christmas theme? What's going on with Fortnite right now?
There are some Christmas theme, just not as much as last year. But there's some missions for Christmas. Well, and the map changed a little bit because of Christmas. But other than that, nothing changed on Fortnite for Christmas. But they did add a Mandalorian event.
That's cool. What was different from last year? What did they do last year?
They added a whole nother fragment to the lobby where every day if you check in, you can get a gift type thing where you get a free glider, skin, whatever.
Nice. Yeah, that sounds better. What?
Yeah. It sounds like they almost skimped out this year.
Yeah, it feels like the wrong year to do that too, considering. But anyways, tell us more about this Mando event.
So in the Battle Pass, they added the Mandalorian, and each character that you get a new challenge to gain a piece of Beskar, and it upgrades your armor and just makes the skin look more like how we actually know it.
Oh, so you have to do it piece by piece.
Yeah, unlike in the show.
Does it give you a separate like skin with like a different part of your armor that's finished each time you finish like a portion of it?
No, they have it where you can change the skin. It's not a new skin, but it gives you a new aspect you can add to the skin.
Oh.
You can take off the Beskar, put it back on, whatever you want.
Yeah, this is the stuff right here that Fortnite always catches me because I've almost gone on to play with Skylar with this game again. I did it in the past, but when I heard about this Mando event and even the X-Men event that was previous, or the Marvel one, I was like, oh man, I want that skin. I don't even play that game, but I want that skin. And I know if I get that skin, I'm still not going to play the game, but I'll have the skin.
Yeah, I've seen like Twitch plays of it like in passing, like, and that's about the most I know about it. Like, I don't know if the point is to build or to kill people. I don't quite understand, but it's cool. Yeah.
Well, Skylar, what is the point of this game?
It's a battle royale. You just try and survive. If you see someone, you kill them. Building is just a way to protect yourself. You don't have to do it, but it can give you more protection. That's about it.
Well, why don't you just build yourself into a room? Guard the
Because
door.
everything you build is destructible, and they can just break it, get down, and if they break all the bottom pieces, it makes it so the whole thing falls down.
But what it sounds like is Tomas's strategy is just to hunker down
Yeah.
until this whole thing blows over.
Build a little bunker. And guard the door.
You're in there playing Minecraft, and while everyone else is shooting each other.
Like, what's going on?
I have played in the past, and it's pretty interesting. I'm not very good at it, but I've played with some buddies, and I've played with Skylar. And towards the end of the matches, I don't know if it's still like this, but when I played, like people would make towers and stuff, and like you'd get like these crazy building structures with people like fighting each other, and like there's like only a couple of people left. And then you can, like he just said, you can like knock down the bottom of it, and it could just fall apart while people are like fighting on top. It looks pretty crazy in the end. I mean, getting there is the hard part, and actually being good at that point.
Yeah.
I've played it a little bit years ago with some buddies, and they actually like. I remember I picked it up the day before like the new season came out, and I was able to do all the challenges and get the battle pass for free, just because they like, hey, all you got to do is this minimum amount of stuff, and that was fun, like playing with buddies. And then I played by myself, and I was like, oh, this isn't quite as fun. I didn't think so. But there's this huge creative mode where you can build your own levels. And one of my friends actually showed me this. It's like a platformer creative mode that goes on for like 100 levels, and it's actually really well done and really like smart. I almost said creative and creative mode. Of course, it is, but it's smart and well done. And there's a lot of potential you could do with that game because it's so expansive. They've added so many things that you might not even know about, and it's almost overwhelming. But it's a cool game. It's still very relevant and popular since especially since Skylar has playing it. Skylar, what skin are you using currently?
Currently, I've been using the Mandalorian skin. I
Yeah,
also swap it between one of the new skins, the man cake, where it's just a man made of pancakes.
I thought that's what you said. I'm not going to repeat that word, but that is so. Are those your favorite skins of all time, or are those just your current favorites?
Those are my current favorites. I also like one that's called Fusion from a previous battle pass, which is the last skin in that battle pass. That's one that I also use it sometimes, but those are the main ones.
Nice, dude. Appreciate you letting us know about Fortnite because we don't play it. So unless you guys want to talk about it more, let's move on to our favorite Christmas games.
Sounds good.
Cool. So let's just kick it off. I'm going to give our guest the opening spot if he has one. It's okay if you don't, but do you have a favorite Christmas game, Skylar?
Not really. I just play normal games that I play all year round.
It's just another time it's just extra time during Christmas break to get some gaming in, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you. What about you, Tomas?
I would have to say that back in the day when I was a young lad, no, back in the day, when I was in high school, I would say that Assassin's Creed actually used to be one of my Christmas games because I would play it over the Christmas break like crazy. But I would have to say the one game that I feel the Christmas setting and the Christmas vibe from while I play is Batman Arkham Origins.
Yeah, because that one's specifically set around Christmas time.
Yeah, with the Christmas tree and there are Christmas lights, and yeah, it's just, and that whole game series. I mean, Arkham Knight wasn't wonderful, but the whole series was great. I felt.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, on that note, I mean, not Origins specifically, but though that Arkham series to me is kind of my go-to around Christmas time because I like to play through it. I don't I don't want to take too long to beat those games because you kind of forget where you're at and what you're doing. But so Christmas time when you have some time off from work or school or whatever. So I was going to ask you guys, what is your favorite Batman game from the Arkham series? Not Christmas related, just your favorite one. Because like you said, Tomas, I think they're all kind of wintry, Christmas-ish, even though Orange is specifically around there. So, Alan, let's start with you. What's your favorite Batman Arkham game?
Yeah, if we're gonna make a pick out of these 5 games, and I never played Blackgate, but I
You're not
guess
missing
like
too much.
overall, I think I would have to go with Arkham City. I think most of us would probably choose similar, but I could be wrong. Either that one. See, the first 3, especially to me, I think are great. But if I'm going to choose one that's my favorite, definitely have to be Arkham City. I think I had the most fun overall in that game.
Cool. Tomas, what's your favorite?
Okay, out of all of them, that's a toughie because I actually really loved Arkham Origins. I
Yeah.
really liked Arkham Knight though too. I think I've played Arkham Knight more than any other game I have owned.
Did you just say?
I mean,
wasn't
not
that
Arkham
great?
Knight, not
I was
Arkham
like,
Knight. Oof.
wait a
Oh,
minute.
bad. Arkham City. I mean,
I mean,
Arkham
that's
City.
fine. I actually think that Arkham Knight is a good game if it didn't have to live up to the previous ones.
Yeah. It definitely does not hold up to the other ones. So no, I meant Arkham City was the one I've put the most time into. I think when it all comes down to it, Arkham City is probably my favorite one.
So we got two for Arkham City, and I asked you guys first because I knew I was going to be the odd man out, but Arkham Knight is my favorite one out of the entire series.
It's just because you
Um,
can play Adam West Batman, isn't it?
Okay, honestly, that was a big point. That changed the whole experience for me. I'm not even
I did that as
like,
well. Yeah, I played like most of the
'cause
game as Adam West.
yeah, and I mean, and it's like Adam West on steroids,
You guys, oh
literally.
my god, oh my word.
But that's not okay. I wasn't even going to bring that up, but that is a good selling point. The costumes in that game are really cool. I mean, you could get the Michael Keaton costume as well,
Mhm.
Yeah,
which is
good.
really awesome.
The Batman Beyond was probably my favorite. But it was also in City as well. But anyways,
Yeah, and like I thought that was cool, but it still looked robotic and a little too bulky. Batman Beyond's supposed to be a slim guy, but the reason I picked Arkham Knight was because you had those next gen graphics. It was the only one that came out on, the next series PS4, and a lot of people don't like it, but you get to play in Gotham and you get to destroy Gotham using the Bat Tank, which I know a lot of people didn't like, but I thought it was done really, really well. It was a little tedious towards the end of trying to get all the Riddler stuff, but I wanted to get all the Riddler stuff, and I did get all the Riddler stuff, and I don't remember doing that in the first one in Asylum. I think I did in City and Origins. Origins is kind of like you know,
Don't you dare.
I know it's good, but it doesn't get enough. It doesn't get enough respect, is what
Yeah,
I
it
so.
doesn't.
it doesn't get
Oh,
enough respect. But I think it was mainly because of all the issues it had at launch.
yeah.
For that
But I
stuff,
didn't get it at launch, so
I
that
did.
neither did I.
I
Neither did I. Got it way,
I bought
after.
it brand new, and I remember buying a Batarang PS3 controller with it that eventually broke in like a couple weeks. I was like,
that-
"Oh, that's great!" I was like so excited for it. Oh yeah, I'm gonna play Batman with a Batarang controller. It's gonna be so awesome. And
Merry
yeah, it
Christmas.
didn't last long. Yeah, it didn't last long.
By the way, it's almost 10 years that Arkham City came out because Arkham City came out in 2011.
yeah, I wonder if they're gonna make a PS5 digital upgrade, like for everyone.
I feel like they're just gonna ignore that one. I think that's it. I think that one and Black are just gonna be left behind.
No, I mean the original and Arkham City.
Oh, I think
Because
the
you know,
I think what most we'll get for those ones is they're just gonna either re-release them. I don't think they're gonna do a whole lot to upgrade them, but I could be wrong.
Yeah.
because they re-released it again. Just what I think just a
Yeah,
couple years ago.
but
They did it
it
again. It was like
but it
what?
was just a re-release. Yeah, they're not gonna
Yeah.
upgrade them. Yeah.
Yeah, Alan's right. They will probably re-release them, but they won't remake them like they did with the Resident Evil games. They might maybe the next consoles that come out, not the PS5, but the next ones, they might like go back and remake them because then we'll be looking at real people when it comes to graphics. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
We'll see.
Maybe far in the future we might get a remake of like City. I don't think they'll do all of them, but we'll see.
Yeah, they would. Everyone would pick City.
Yeah.
I think it's probably better overall, like mechanically, but I think just when you start Night, it doesn't, like hold your hand. It assumes you play the other ones a little bit, and you
Mhm.
can just get right into it. And I really like that, and it just helped me
Yeah,
a lot.
I know Knight gets a lot of like crap for some reason, but I like I said, I think it's still a great game. There's nothing wrong with it. It just
Yeah.
has a lot to live up to.
I enjoyed Night, and I think it was the fact that it has a lot to live up to that made it not be as great as it could be. Like if Night had been the only one that came out in the series, I think it would have blown people away. Like, oh my
for sure.
word. Like, but the thing was to me was the tank got a little over pushed. Like it
Yeah,
was
that's
too
what I
much
said.
shooting with
It's
the
tedious.
tank. Yeah, it was just a lot of shooting with the tank and destroying this and stuff like that. And it was just like I am fine when it's tedious just the controls with the tank were too frustrating. I could never get all the. I think that's one of them that I never got all the Riddler trophies because I literally could not master the tank controls quick enough to get the best trophy. Like,
And I know that's a lot of flack it gets, but I really love the tank. And once I got it down, it was actually really, really fun. Now, there was a couple times, even later in the game when I'd press, I like instinctively wanted to press one of the trigger buttons and it'd go into tank mode rather than racing mode and be like, no, 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 no,
yeah, yeah.
stop it, But yeah, other than that, I still just really loved it. And yeah, good game series. Great for playing around Christmas time. We live in sunny Southern California. We hardly even get rain. I mean, well, Alan, you live in the mountains, so you get
Yeah,
some snow,
I get
but
snow
it
regularly.
definitely helps. It definitely helps when there is some snow or rain outside or cloudy. It just adds to the atmosphere. And I think that's a good thing about these games these days is that there's, they really suck you in to where even the real life atmosphere can add to your game experience. But you guys have any other favorite Christmas games that you have in mind?
Well, I wanted to do a little kind of shout out to both Animal Crossing and Final Fantasy 14 because Animal Crossing has like a snowman event that's really fun, and in the new Christmas time or the snow winter time in Animal Crossing, it looks amazing. It's just incredible to just be around and make snowmen and stuff like that, and it just really gives you that Christmas vibe. And there's so much decorations and everything like that. Final Fantasy 14, same thing. They have a Christmas event every year. This year was no different. They give you like a snowman mount, and the whole world is just decorated in Christmas. It's just really cool, and they had a really cool story this year, like a story quest you could go on. That was it was kind of reminiscent to what we're all kind of going through, where this little girl, her parents are sick, and you go through this whole process of cheering her up, and she's helping you cheer up all the children and everything like that. And then at the end, you end up helping the people get her parents some sort of essentially cure or vaccine. It was actually really interesting and really related to what we're all going through. But what I wanted to really end on was we talked about this a little bit, and we brought up Christmas games, and I knew that you guys would talk about Origins, so I made sure to stay away from it. So I brought out a classic that I've used for many years. I haven't used it this year, but I need to bring it out again. It's a Wii game. There were so many shovelware games for that console, but this is one of the many. But I think this is one of the gems of the shovel games. It's called We Wish You a Merry Christmas.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it is a cute little game with just mini games. There's an advent calendar. You know how you unlock things in games? Well, the majority of the unlocks are unlocked with the advent calendar. So as you go through the advent calendar, if you do it properly, you'll just get more things, more little trinkets and skins and stuff as you go through the game, as you're counting down to Christmas. And you'll unlock more mini games and stuff like that. It's a 4-player game. It's just really fun.
It's actually good.
It's actually, I mean, it's not great. It's not Mario Party, but it's a good game for Christmas. I mean, it's like 10 mini games. You play it for maybe an hour with a group of people, and it's perfect for that. It's not something you're going to play like Mario Party all the time, but it's still really fun.
That is a legit Christmas game.
Yeah.
So that's cool. That's awesome. Yeah, I couldn't really think of any specific games other than Origins.
Yeah, honestly, other than having played Assassin's Creed over Christmas break, I couldn't really think of a game besides, the Batman Arkham Origin.
I think I got this around when Skylar was first wanting to play games, and so this was like a good one that we all could play together and utilize it. So it was really fun.
The Wii definitely mastered that genre for family gaming. They really did. And there's so I have a handful on my Wii still just of some shovelware family games that are great to play. Just you pick them up once a year, you play with your family, your friends, and you put it back till next time. So they definitely, I think the Switch has a lot, but the Wii did it really well. Mm-hmm. So if you're looking for some Christmas games this year, go buy a Wii.
Definitely.
They're still pretty affordable, and there's a ton of them.
One, it still has a price tag on it. Apparently, I bought it used from probably GameStop or maybe Game Crazy. I don't know. It looks like GameStop.
Game Crazy.
$15 I bought this for back then.
Ooh, that's pretty. Yeah, that's
Not bad.
reasonable.
Yeah, it's got a manual,
Uh,
so that's something we don't see very
Ooh,
much
CIB, complete in
anymore.
box.
Anyways,
Yeah,
all right.
yeah. There are so we were talking about the Switch and the Wii, but there are some new games if you're looking for some really affordable games, and you have the Nintendo Online service, which is dirt cheap compared to everything else in the world.
Yeah.
There are some new Super Nintendo games that we wanted to talk about. One of them being Donkey Kong 3, which Alan and I we've been playing through the first two. We beat the first one, didn't get through two. We just been on hiatus. But now that they released 3, I guess we got to get our acts together and get on that. But what are the other games coming out for the Super Nintendo and the Switch?
We got. It looks like we got, like you said, Donkey Kong Country 3. Dixie Kong's Double Trouble. I don't know if you guys remember this. This is a story I like to bring up all the time. I had a copy of this, but my Super Nintendo got stolen, and so for some reason they left Donkey Kong Country 3. I'm not sure why, but I had it, and I remember trading Tomas for his Kirby 64 game.
Yes.
To
I
be
remember
honest,
that.
even though it's a newer game and if I was trading him an older game, I think it's a fair trade because Donkey Kong, this game is actually a really good Donkey Kong game. And to be fair, that Kirby game is actually kind of a mediocre Kirby game. So I think it works
Yeah.
out in the long run.
I think even in like value, it's still like a fair trade.
I had played that Kirby game over and over and over and over, and then I don't know. You played it with me or something, right? I feel like
Maybe. Yeah, I may have played with you a little bit.
Yeah, and you were like, "Oh, something about this was fun," or something, and yeah, you had the Donkey Kong. I had never played it, and so yeah, and then when I traded you, I played that game pretty much religiously as well.
Yeah, solid game. But it came out with another well, 4 other games, 3 Super Nintendo, 1 Nintendo. We got the Ignition Factor, Super Super Valus 4, Tough Enough for Super Nintendo, and then
What a
on
name.
Nintendo we got Nightshade, which that sounds like a dark Nintendo game.
For the
I don't know.
holidays.
Yeah, good for the holidays.
I mean, if it's on the NES, I
But
can
do you,
guess what it
okay,
is.
so I don't know these games, but do you see that one case, the Tough Enough?
Yeah. Oh, I'm
Does
very
it-
familiar with that case.
I don't know anything about it. It looks like a DBZ character. What is that?
I don't.
I've never even heard of this game.
Is that the name of the game? Because I feel like there's more to it. I think it says, "Are you tough enough?"
Oh, is it Are You Tough Enough?
And yeah,
Like, hey punk, are
Well,
you
that's
tough
the-
enough? Yeah.
Hey punk, and that's the title is just tough enough, and it's so confusing. Yeah, I don't. It's notorious for being a really bad
Oh, is it?
cover art.
Oh, cover art.
Cover art. Yeah, the game's fine.
I'll put it right there for you, Tomas, so you can see it. I put it in the little chat. I'll put it in the general one so Skylar can see it if he wants.
Wow.
But yeah, it's just an interesting looking box art.
Yeah, it looks like Sabretooth mixed with
Yeah,
DBZ, kind of with the yellow hair all straight up, but he's got really furry
Yeah.
eyebrows.
The picture I was looking at was like kind
Yeah.
of pulled out a lot. It was really small. So, but to me, it looked like a DBZ character, but I guess it looks more like a
he's
Marvel
like-
character almost.
it's like he's turning around and he's like
Yeah.
yelling at you about it.
I'm turning around.
Yeah, it's odd marketing, like to get yelled at by a video game case. Like, I guess I ain't tough enough.
Yeah, I guess I'm not. Like, you got me.
All right.
Tomas, do you actually play these games? Do you play the Super Nintendo games on the Switch at all?
I played Double Dragon because but I only played it for like a couple days. I really liked Double Dragon when I was a kid, but once I got to like I think the end of the second or third level, I was like, yeah, that's enough of this. Yeah. It was
Yeah. Yeah,
The nostalgia bug
I
was itched, but that was it.
yeah yeah. Fair enough. I only turn them on, unless Alan and I play through Donkey Kong together, which is a cool feature. Like you can't even play Cuphead online together, but you can play the Super Nintendo games, which
Yeah.
I'm not complaining about. It's just odd, and it's a great. Like if I have 10, 15 minutes, I'll put on Ghosts and Goblins or Ghouls and Goblins and try to not get super annoyed at it, or I'll put some, one of the tennis games on. So they're really good, just almost like arcade style short little games that you could pop on and play. Or if you're playing with your family, you could play for hours at a time. So cool
Yeah.
little feature. Cool, great feature, I should say, on Nintendo.
Agreed.
So with that, I would say goodbye to Skylar. But I mean, if you want to hang around, I don't see why not.
I might stick around for a bit,
Well,
but I might leave.
let me
soon.
ask you
I
this
don't know.
though, because we're going to go into the meta section of our Nerd BS podcast. And so, Skylar, what's your favorite Christmas movie?
I'm thinking. Elf.
I mean, that's not a bad one to be on the at least top 5.
Yeah, I don't remember any off the top of
So-
my head right now.
Other than Elf, because it's that
It's a good
great.
movie.
I freaking love that
Yeah,
movie.
definitely.
What about you guys? What are some of your favorite Christmas movies?
Well, I'm gonna steal the Batman thunder this time. Batman Returns.
Oh,
Just jack that one. That's a great one. I actually just watched it this year. We were talking about it a little bit ago. I think we were talking about it on one of our quiz nights, and it's on HBO Max. So I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna watch it, and I downloaded it so I could watch it in like the highest definition that they have for that old movie. So you could see a lot of weird details that I couldn't see before. So it was really fun to go
Yeah.
through it and just see how grotesque the penguin is. And it was just, but then how Christmassy was, because I actually sat with Skylar and watched it. He watched it with me when we watched it together. And at the beginning, I was like, "This is a Christmas movie," and he was like, "No, it's not a Christmas movie." And then I was like explaining stuff, and then we kept going, and we watched the whole movie. And then towards the end, I asked him again, "And what'd you say, Skylar?"
Definitely a Christmas movie.
Yeah, definitely a Christmas movie. It's very good.
for sure. I love that little thing that the penguin drives when he has control of the Batmobile. He's like in a little duck. Oh my goodness. It like when the first time you see it, it almost doesn't even make sense because they don't explain it. Either they don't talk about it, and then when he's done, they never go back to it. And you're like, oh, okay, that was an odd scene, but it was I
Yeah,
love
and
it.
I never even noticed that scene, but like because it's all blown up and everything now, and all high def, there's like air conditioner units all around him, blowing air on him. Like I never noticed those before. I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense that he would want all that to be like in an ice chest type situation.
Yeah, for some reason they made it like where he actually has to
Yeah.
move. Like it seems very pointless. Like just can't you just control the device? You have to also be
Yeah.
moving and shaking around violently.
And he's just in this little truck and just bouncing around on the side of the road. Just people just walking by, seeing this truck bouncing around.
Yeah,
Yeah, but it's Gotham, man. It's not.
yeah.
I love that explanation. You can explain
Right?
everything away. It's
Gotham.
Gotham. They're all
Yeah.
hallucinating.
They're not sure because they've been drugged so many times. They're like,
Yeah,
well, this
right.
could just be an after effect. I don't even know.
The entire city's been gassed so many
Gassed by
times.
Joker. We've been gassed by Scarecrow. we've been
Al
we've been
Ghul.
gassed by Al Ghul. We've been gassed by Bane. I don't think anything would shock you in
Yeah.
Gotham anymore.
It's Gotham. Yeah, we're used to this kind of
Like,
craziness.
did you hear there's an actual bat the size of a man flying around? You mean Batman? No, this time it's a real bat flying around. Yeah, still, whatever.
Hey, that real quick, that part in Arkham Knight when you have to chase
Mhm.
down Man-Bat, that literally, I think I peed a little bit.
Yeah.
And the first time you see him and he just jumps out at you from the rooftop. You're like, son of a,
Yeah,
don't, Man Bat, stop it, Man Bat,
he
don't
got me
do
a
that.
couple times too because it was just like he would just pop out of nowhere while you're in the middle of quests.
You start getting used to it though. You're like, okay, it's been about half an hour. I haven't seen him, and he's probably on this roof. So you start getting.
Yeah.
It's interesting. You probably like get inside Batman's head a little bit. Like he probably thinks the same way. Like, oh man, he got me before, but I'm gonna be ready for that stupid Man Bat.
Just if I can just bring up one last thing about this, being in Batman's head. I just always picture playing that game, and when Riddler makes his first appearance to you every time in that game, like by the time it gets to Arkham Knight and he makes his appearance to you, it's got to be like, really? Oh my god.
You're not out in the open, right, Riddler? You're gonna stay in your hole. I don't have to go find you.
We did this 3 times, buddy.
We did this. It's so true. Anyways, let's go back to our the movie section. That is a very good choice, Alan, for Batman Returns. I haven't seen it in ages, and I feel like the HD version with even movies being released today, I've missed that movie magic fuzziness.
That kind of grain.
Yeah, it kind of blocks a lot of
Yeah.
the side of it. But at the same time, you really can see all the like detail they've put into the scene that they probably didn't need to because you wouldn't be able to notice it as much in the grain. But I get entirely what you're saying, though.
Well, and here's why I don't like it, because while it is nice to see those details, I remember watching one of the Hobbit movies, I think the second one, in the ultra theater with the high definition, and it's like, man, it's like it looks like they were there, and it got so real that I could see the hair plugs on their legs because it was so detailed. I kid you not,
would
like,
throw you out.
Yeah, and I was like, oh well, okay, that's a little like you need the fuzziness there to blur that part
Yeah.
out, like. And the costumes are great. It wasn't all of them, but there's a couple times I was like, oh, that's a wig. That's clearly a wig because it was so high def. It was like, no, you bring the definition down.
You've gone too far.
Exactly, and that movie really did all three.
Well,
of them.
There wasn't a need to do 3. Yeah, it just
frustrated me. Yeah.
I think if I ever, I don't like somebody, like if you guys piss me off, I'm gonna make you guys sit through those movies. Like, come on over, we'll have a good time. We're watching The Hobbits.
What did I do to you, Kyle?
I've actually still sat through them because I do enjoy
all 3.
Yeah, I've done that and Lord of the
After
Rings.
the first time, because I did it
Oof.
one time, but that was almost one time.
Oh
for
yeah,
me.
I've done it on multiple occasions because I do
man.
love.
And you
I
stayed
do
away.
love the story. Well, I didn't say I was conscious the whole time. I watched it,
Okay,
but I wasn't
okay,
conscious.
that's fair.
Like there's a
I guess
difference.
those are good movies to fall asleep to.
They're fun, but it's not as good as actually reading the story. But I don't have the time to read the story. I'd rather watch it
I
sometimes.
think the story would
So-
almost be shorter to just read.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, if you read it pretty quickly,
It's
you
not that
probably
long of
could.
a book. It's pretty small comparatively to like Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, the Lord of the
True.
Rings ones, those are by far just amazing. My favorite Christmas movie though is on par with these special effects. I kid you not, because it is Muppets: A Christmas Carol.
Dude, yes, that's
Good one. Yeah, it's very good.
dude. It's got to be a generational thing because it's not on the top of the list except for in our world, because what's funny, I'm actually going to group watch that tonight with my
Oh, yeah?
siblings on Disney, yeah. So anyways, Tomas, tell us why it's your favorite.
Oh man, I watched that one. I don't know how many times I've seen it. I always loved it. I always had a good laugh with it. I don't know how else to say it. It's just perfect. It's just great. Makes you almost tear up sometimes,
Almost.
Well, maybe just one.
The love is gone. The
When they
love
took
is
out the
gone.
song, it's a lot easier not to tear up
Oh,
now, you know?
well, but yeah, I think we talked about it before, but I made sure I got the edition that had that song in it, and I've had that DVD for like over a decade. So I and then I made copies for people of it because I was like, no, 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 that's not the real Muppets Christmas Carol. This is the real one.
You're talking about my
Like
underground
this.
cuts of Star Wars. We got Kyle over here with his underground cuts of Christmas Carol.
This is another level of nerd BS. So here's the actual backstory. If none of you know what we're talking about, okay, the Muppets Christmas Carol came out mid '90s, I think '96 or something, and I think why it's so great, Tomas, is that it was like the pinnacle of the Muppets Christmas movies. I'm not Christmas movies, just movies
Yes.
in general. Like they started, years before, but they had reached this like their prime, so to speak, around
This
that
one and
movie.
Treasure Island, I think,
Yeah, I
were
think that's the
really
only one that could
there.
compare is Treasure Island
Yeah.
in quality.
Yeah, and I think it was they've always had some top billed actors, but Tim Curry was on Treasure Island, and then Michael Caine,
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
just fantastic actor in the Muppet Christmas Carol, and so the flow of that movie is great. There's never a boring moment. The fact that they chose to do a narrator instead of just telling the story with Gonzo and Rizzo makes the movie so much more enjoyable. They hit it, and then they even leave. They're like, "This is too
Yeah.
scary." When the future ghost comes out, they're like, "No,
Yeah.
you're on your own." And then when that happens, you also feel you're like, "Oh no, I'm trapped. We're in this." They just reached that pinnacle. However, this is the backstory. There was a song called "The Love Is Gone" where they go to Scrooge's past and they show him the time when he lost his fiancée because he cared more about business and money and wanted to grow rather than his relationship with his girl. And she sings this freaking heartbreaking song that the love is gone. And the part that gets me is he sings it, and then like there's a part that doesn't know the words because she left.
Yeah.
Right? So he doesn't he doesn't know the end of the song because he didn't hear it. And oh my gosh, and they took that song out for some reason. I don't know why. Like I don't yeah.
That song and that whole part, it speaks to him as an actor because if I remember correctly, it's been a while since I've seen it, but if I remember it correctly, even at that towards the end, what also choked me up is because he chokes up. Like he doesn't really finish the song either. He kind of, and it's just like, oh gosh,
Yeah. Yeah,
like you
exactly. Yeah.
feel the pain and you see it.
Right, and the transition cuts to him back in the room, and he's just sobbing, like, and he remembers how much that hurt, that he had almost buried that emotion deep down, and yeah, and it's all portrayed just through acting. They don't even describe it. It's just like you said, Michael Caine just stinking nailed
Yeah.
it.
But they cut it like you said, they cut it out and then they brought it back in the first VHS release, but then they released it on DVD and cut it out again. But apparently there was a release, like you said. Apparently there was a DVD release that was given strictly to probably rental houses that they still had. It was probably a rip or a copy of a VHS tape or something, I'm assuming, and it was just brought over.
Was there ever a discussion about why it was cut?
From what I understood, it was a time and also the scene itself. It's back and forth, and some people think it's not a very good scene. Uh, some people think that the song doesn't hold it up strong enough, even though the song is very good. The scene itself is not looked at being very great. But also, like I said, it's like Kyle said, it's back on Disney Plus. I mean, they brought it back again, so obviously there's enough love for it that it
Yeah.
returns.
Yeah, we finally, we got enough petitions signed. I went door to door, and yeah, I've had this arguments with people about the song. They're like, "No, I'm glad that stupid song got taken out. We don't need that kind of stuff in there." And I think cutting it for time was the
Yeah.
main reason, like to play it on TV. And there was a lot of Christmas past in the movie. They went to like 3 or 4 different scenes just for the
Yeah.
past, and it's like if you're gonna cut something, that would be the one to cut. But I think it's pivotal, and I don't know, for us sappy, lovers, we like it.
Actually, I just remembered the other scene that actually I think gets me still is the one where he's asking the ghost of Christmas Present, I think, the big guy, right?
Amanda, know me
Yeah,
better,
yeah.
man.
He's talking to him and he's like, will Tiny Tim make it? And that whole thing about like how he sees an empty chair. I was like, no, not Tim.
Just say it isn't so. You know what else I love about that movie is at the end they're like, if you like this, go read the book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they support it, and I actually did. If you want a short read, that one you could read it in a few hours. If that, it's a really good book.
If I was gonna pick a moment for myself too, I'm gonna go with when Animal is forced to play the triangle. You just feel the pain
Yeah.
in his heart as he can't.
He's like breathing,
He's
heavy
like-
breathing.
He's like, yeah.
And I think if we're going to the backstory too, I think the only reason they made that movie was to cast Fozzie Bear as Fozziewig. And that somebody said that, and then I remember, like, you know what? We gotta do this.
Yeah,
It's destiny.
we have to. It's only fitting. And I think he like survived. Like he's at the end of the
Yeah, I
movie,
think so.
and he gives him a present. It's just a weird little touch that wasn't in the book, but yeah. I also like when Sam the Eagle says it's the American way, and then the narrator
Yeah.
has to whisper into his ear. It's like, no. Oh, it's the British way. Like this, we're not.
But now we have great Muppet stuff like Muppets Now to like look at instead of.
I don't know what that is.
It's on Disney Plus. It's terrible.
Okay, I thought so. I've tried the newer ones and I can't
Yeah.
get into them.
They don't have the passion.
I was gonna say my favorite movie because I mean, Tomas stole mine. Alan picked one of the best ones. So we have action. We have Muppets. I guess comedy. What is that? No, that's like a drama.
It goes
Drama
up and down.
comedy.
It definitely goes up and down.
So then I'll go with just straight comedy. Jingle All the Way. Jingle All the Way. A lot of people don't know about this. Timeless classic, starring one of the most well-trained actors of our generation. And when I say trained, I mean physically, in physique and muscle, not in acting, but still just phenomenal on the camera. Arnold Schwarzenegger is just. It's just so fun. It's just a silly, fun movie about, and if you took out the Turbo Man action figure he's trying to find in the movie for PS5 this year, it'd be the same
Yeah.
plot. It'd be the same.
Well,
plot,
I mean,
yeah.
and also let's
and-
give an honorable mention to the co-star Sinbad. I mean, come on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was gonna get to.
Wasn't he in Kazam?
Yeah.
He wasn't in Kazam.
Wait, no, Kazam was
No.
Shaq.
Shaq.
Yeah.
It's a common joke
Shaq,
on the
yeah.
internet.
Yeah,
Apparently, a lot of
yeah.
people think Sinbad was in Kazam,
Oh
but he wasn't. Or a lot of people think a movie
no,
called
that always made me
Kazam,
mad.
but it doesn't exist. But people keep saying there's a movie called Kazam where Sinbad is a genie, but it doesn't exist.
No, he was in First Kid. He was
Yeah,
the
he was a
bodyguard
first
in
kid. Yeah. But anyways,
and other
Yeah.
things.
that movie's great though. I love that movie.
It's if you've never seen it, please just see it. It's just
It
silly
has
fun.
a knockout sequel with Larry the Cable Guy that I literally refused
up.
my wife
Oh,
when
I've
she
seen
downloaded
that
it. I was like,
cover.
no, I'm not watching that.
Oh,
I'm not
boy.
watching anything about that.
Really?
Yeah,
Are you
no. I've seen the cover.
Wow.
Don't.
That's all you need to see.
I don't know why
That's
you
it.
brought you. I don't know why you tainted this
Wow.
podcast
Because
with
it came
that.
up like 2 days ago.
Anyways, I'll give an honorable mention to another movie. It's a Wonderful Life. That is actually a drama, and that one makes me cry every year, and it is a must watch.
I have a bell that I bought like a collector's edition a long time ago. DVD came with a little bell, and I
I
still
did
have it
not
on my
know
tree.
you liked it that much.
It's a tree every year.
You be giving angels their wings, man. Good for you.
Mhm.
Let's go on to tabletop games. This is our Christmas special bonanza explosion spectacular. That put that in the title. Write that down. But yeah, we'll keep this quick. Well, I'll start out. There is a Villainous. I've talked about this game a couple times where you play as Disney villains, and my sister and
Mhm.
and I and everyone surrounding us have to play this game because she owns the main game and an expansion, and you play as a villain, and you try to basically destroy other villains. So you're all just, and it's so fun because it makes you have to think so shady and shifty. You're like, how can I screw over everyone else so that I win? And it's very it's anti teamwork, except for when someone's about to win, then you team up to make them not win, and then you backstab each other. But there is a Marvel edition that's come out that's compatible with all of them. I feel like I want to keep those two separate and play Marvel with Marvel guys and Disney with Disney. I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
If you want to mix them up, that's fine. But I just saw it at Target, and it's a great tabletop game with the family. Takes it could take half an hour to 2 hours, depending on how many people playing it and how serious you want to take it. So fun. The Marvel edition has some really low key villains though. Thanos is one of them, but then it has like Hela as another one, and my sister's like, "Yeah, I don't know any of those." So I think they're saving the big guns or the expansion passes.
Yeah, probably they wanna sell them now.
Yeah, but still worth playing. When we get out of this lockdown, we're gonna have to play that game together.
Definitely. I never have any real interest with it because I was playing a different game when my family was playing it before the lockdown, and I didn't join them. I played with some other people, Binding of Isaac, but, it sounded interesting, and you keep talking about it, so I really wanna give it a shot.
We'll all get together, and you could play with so many people. And it's like it's just so fun. So, what kind of board games do you guys play at Christmas?
Uh, we used to play Munchkin here and there. That's another game there's a bunch of different expansions, and you can mix them, but why would you? If you wanna play a superhero version, you play a superhero version, not a fantasy. I don't know, I like to keep them separate.
Sometimes it depends. I like to mix them up and just get like crazy wacky, but sometimes you get OP real quick with the when you mix them up.
Yeah, the old days, I remember when I used to go out and visit my family, extended family, and we used to have, like, a large, family gathering. It was almost like a reunion. We don't do it anymore, sadly, but, and especially not a year like this. But Yahtzee, for some reason,
Mhm.
Yahtzee was always out. Like, there was always people playing Yahtzee. Uh,
Yahtzee.
so yeah, it's just a really weird apparently that side of my family is just really into Yahtzee, so we just play it a lot. Just those dice. It's a very simple game. I think most of you know it. Very old, but it's fun.
That is fun. I know my wife's family plays a train game.
Oh yeah, I forget what it's called. Is it that big board game like the train something? I can't remember.
Yeah.
Ticket to Ride? Is it Ticket to Ride?
No, but we got that
Oh,
as a Christmas gift this year, and we need to try that.
yeah,
That
it's
looks
fun
fun.
too.
Yeah, we got the Japan version, so
Hmm.
yeah. I really don't know how to do it, but we love board games over here. Um, we don't really have a tradition. We like to go through them and get new ones. All right, Tomas, what about you? You got Christmas board games?
Yeah, when we used to get together and stuff, we used to have Uno going a lot and Yahtzee as well. But Uno
Oh yeah,
Attack, which was that one where you like press the button and it spit cards at you.
I never understood that one. You already get a little mad when you're playing the game. At least, maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm the one that gets mad, and yeah, I can't handle cards being spit at me. So that's fun. Hopefully, you guys get to play some games with your family this year. Maybe not. Um, Hopefully, by next Christmas, we everything will be opened up again. We'll get together and we'll just make a whole episode about it.
Things straight. Sounds great.
Thanks, Skippy. We're going to the final block of our Christmas special. And do you guys have anything you're looking forward to playing or watching coming up?
I'm actually really looking forward to Wonder Woman 1984. I have read some reviews that have already been put up, but Rotten Tomatoes has given it an 89%.
Wow.
Yeah, and a lot of people have said some really great things about it.
Did you like the first movie, the first
Yeah,
Wonder
I
Woman
thought it
movie?
was great. I know that DC and WB have messed up in the past. I will not deny it. Superman Returns, no. Justice League,
I mean, did they though? Because they did get an Academy Award.
just no, no,
It's
no,
true.
no,
It's true.
no.
Sorry, keep going.
I'm sorry. They have disappointed on a lot of turns, but there are a few gems, and Aquaman and Wonder Woman, and I'm going to say it, Kyle, Shazam are great. They are great. You will, you will
Better.
have fun. You will have fun watching them. Go watch them.
I will say that I've been watching Titans now that's come to HBO Max with my son, who's about basically the same cast of the Teen Titans, the old show, and also comic book. And it's been a pretty good experience. So I've actually been thinking about going back and watching some of these DC movies that I missed after being burned so hard.
Yeah, Alan, you haven't even seen Wonder Woman, right?
No, I haven't watched anything past Justice League. Basically, after Justice League, I just dropped off.
You got burned that bad.
Yeah, after 3 movies in a row that was just bad to worse to worse, I was like, all right, I'm done.
That's literally like business 101. Like, I'm not going to keep giving you my money.
Yeah.
if I'm not enjoying what I'm paying for.
Exactly.
And I think it's perfectly fair. But the thing is that you have HBO, so you get it for free anyways. You're not really
Yes,
giving them your money
if
to watch
it is coming to HBO, which it sounds like it is, I will definitely. The old ones are on there, and I think actually my wife bought some of the other ones, so I have access to them. That's not the reason. So I do, like I said, after this Titans, I do want to go watch it. Some of the other ones, some of the newer, older ones.
He's not going to watch them, Tomas. I got him. I got away. That usually means no, I'm not going to watch. I'm kidding. I think Wonder Woman was good. I liked it. I think they're worth a watch. I think even Shazam's worth watching if you're a fan of this stuff. I just didn't like. I think they could have cut out a lot of just boring scenes from that movie.
Yeah, I think they should have gone with their original idea, which was Black Adam.
Yeah. And I think I'm not really looking forward to this one because it got delayed a few times.
It has been riding that hype for a while, yeah, to the point where the hype's kind of died off.
Yeah,
It's not
and
necessarily its fault, but I understand what you're saying.
Yeah,
No,
COVID kind
that's
of put it in a corner, which kind of stunk.
yeah, exactly. It got delayed for reasons beyond its control. However, from the trailers, I think it looks not so good.
Yeah, that's kind of what I feel too. I've seen that part of the trailers, and I wasn't really like diving in. I'm more excited about trying to get into these just because of watching Titans over that trailer.
Just gonna let you guys know one last thing. It's also Pedro Pascal's first movie on the big screen. So,
What?
yep, he's Max Lord, the villain.
Oh, the villain, yeah. That's all. Well, look, I'm glad that movies are still coming out too, and it's the fact that it's coming out on Christmas is going to be cool for a lot of people, and yeah,
I guess we're gonna say big screen in quotations, right? Big
Yeah,
screen.
I
Yeah.
mean, it is his first big screen, and yeah, it's not really going to be on
Feature
the big
film.
screen for
We'll
but
say
it's his first feature film. Yeah, there you go.
feature film. There
Yeah.
we go. So yeah, that's something to look forward to. That's cool. And on that same note, this kind of goes along with the indie of our month. It's something I'm looking forward to. In fact, it's something I've been looking forward to since Black Friday 2019. Here's the backstory of what I'm talking about. 2019, there's this game called Indivisible that already came out on Xbox and PS4. It's a little company called 505 Games. They made this side-scrolling RPG that is really good because I played it on Game Pass. But I wanted the Switch version because I like being able to play portable, and I want everything on Switch. I'm one of those weirdos that likes. What is it? Can you play it on Switch?
I get it.
I'm
yeah.
waiting for Cyberpunk on the Switch. That's what I'm really waiting for. But, anyways, Black Friday 2019, Target had a sale for this game, Indivisible, for $15 on the Switch. Now, between then and now, 505 Games has dissolved as a company. And
Oh, I didn't know that. That's upsetting.
yeah, and my pre-order was still in Target's system. And I only paid $15. So I was like, well, I'm reading all these articles like that still might be released. Maybe you might get a refund. I'm like, I'm just going to hold on to it though. And like a month or two ago, finally got released like, oh yeah, we're actually going to release Indivisible physically on cartridge on the Switch. And so literally today I went and picked it up, my pre-order from 2019. I think that's the longest I've ever paid and waited for a game in my entire life. Only
Yeah.
because it was such a good deal, because you could buy it, I think, from other stores right now, but it's $40. And so I was like, I want that $15 one. And but what sucks is that now all the DLC is canceled, and they had some really cool DLC planned for it. And there's a slew of other stories involving it, but that is my indie of the month. It's still a really fun game because, like I said, I played it on Xbox, but wanted it on Switch, and now I own it physically. And I only had to wait a year and a month. No big deal.
Yeah, it's not bad.
So I almost gave up on it, but I have it now. Maybe it'll be a collector's item one day. Who knows?
Excellent.
And something I'm looking forward to because I'm actually going to play it on the Switch. So let's get back into the Christmas theme though, and not so much negative things. We have some Christmas stories for our soapbox this podcast. We got our favorite nerdy Christmas stories. Let's start with I'll start. How about that?
All right.
Mine's a silly story. I don't know how serious you guys are going to get. So one year for Christmas, it was, I think, I don't know, a week before Christmas, I got my wisdom teeth pulled. And I think you just recently got yours pulled, right, Tomas?
Yeah.
And you sound like you're doing all right.
Yeah, I'm doing.
I hope.
Doing a lot better.
Good.
Yeah.
So, but with mine though, I went through. It was one of the worst experiences of my life, and everyone I talked to didn't go through this. I had all my wisdom teeth pulled, plus a fifth one that wasn't a wisdom tooth. It was in front of two front teeth, and it was pushing down on my teeth, and so they had to remove that all at the same time. So I had stitches in my mouth. I had holes from the other teeth, and food was getting in there, and you can't touch it because it's healing. And it was horrible. It was one of the worst things I've ever experienced, like I said. However, I got a basketball hoop. I was in high school. I got a basketball hoop that Christmas, and I wanted to shoot some hoops so bad. But I think either the Christmas day or the day after, I decided to put it together. However, I was on a lot of drugs. They gave me the Vicodin, I'd never taken anything like that. I was literally on drugs, like a fever, sweating it out, and like putting this thing together. Hopefully I didn't do something wrong and break my back trying to dunk on this. But yeah, I put together a basketball hoop on drugs and got to play basketball for like a minute before I just was exhausted and had to go back to sleep. But it was very vivid, and I played the heck out of that hoop. I destroyed the thing, and that's one of my favorite Christmas memories for me. What about you guys?
That's awesome. I just love the description was b-ball hoops on drugs, as
I know.
that could have gone anywhere. But
I was really curious how that title was going to play out. Like,
it's like, you guys don't know this about me, but the first time I tried heroin,
Peyote.
Kyle, wrong podcast. But anyways, what's next, Kyle?
What are your guys' favorite Christmas memories?
I guess I could do mine real quick. This happened, like I said, my Super Nintendo got stolen when I was a kid. I think I've said this a couple times, and it was around that time. All this time when you're a kid kind of blends together, so I can't remember the intensities, but I know my Super Nintendo got stolen. My father had passed away. I know both of you know this, and it was a rough time in my life until luckily someone came to work for us because we run a camp, Ken, and shout out to him if he actually watches this. But I remember this particular Christmas because we were excited and a lot had been happening, and he was really vivid on making the holiday very bright to the point where he was, and I was older. I was probably like about 13, but I knew that there was going to be gifts, but he was really adamant on trying to sneak them in when we didn't see it happening. So I remember actually waiting and trying to catch him throughout the night before I eventually passed out. The next morning, though, when we got our presents, my grandma actually had him done the shopping, and to my surprise, when I opened one of the gifts, it was a large box. It was a Nintendo 64,
Nice.
and I think that Nintendo 64 almost went with me everywhere for quite a while because I remember taking it to your house a lot,
Yeah.
Kyle.
Oh yeah,
But
Smash Bros.
yeah, Smash Bros, Star Fox. I think every game at some point because there wasn't a large catalog,
Diddy Kong
surprisingly.
Racing.
Yeah, Diddy Kong Racing.
Yeah, that was it. Those three. That was the three.
I remember very vividly though that morning because it came with. I don't know if it came with or just came out at the same time. I don't think they came out together, but I obviously didn't get it right when it launched. But I did get Mario 64 at the same exact time. That was the first and only game I had, and I think everybody here who's played that game knows that it's a masterpiece. I mean, it's like one of the best Mario's, especially 3D Mario's, even though it's the first attempt. But I just remember playing that game like all Christmas as much as I humanly could before I was forced to go other places. Because at that time we would travel all over the place to different family houses and stuff like that.
Didn't you guys take it to like hotels and stuff too?
No, we did play at that time when we went to the hotel. We used to go to see the Disney, San Diego quite a bit, and there's a hotel. I think it's like the Dana Inn or something. But they actually had where you could rent movies, but they also had where you could rent 64
Yeah.
games for some reason. And so we would rent like 64 games to play there. 64 is like that was when I got really into playing video games. I don't think I ever played video games more than I did after I got a 64. But yeah, that was probably one of my
Yeah.
favorite Christmases, and yeah.
When you brought Smash Bros over for the first time, I was just telling my wife about this story. When you brought that game over for the first time, I did not sleep that night. We drank a bunch of soda, and I couldn't believe that they made such a perfect game. And we tried to sleep, and I woke up and I was like, I have to keep playing this. Like my mind is like, no, you have to play, and because you were gonna go home the next day. I was like, I only have a couple more hours, and it was such a bad idea, but. We were like, who else can you unlock? Well, there has to be other characters. We didn't have internet or anything, so it was just like,
No,
man,
it was all guessing.
Yeah, it started a lot of problems, but it also was the birth of a beautiful relationship with video games.
Yeah, I remember a lot of nights with that console. Yeah, with the 64, just a lot of different games of everybody passed out on your floor in your bedroom. Like your siblings would just be in there. We'd all be together, and people would just pass out on the floor, and we just have like a weird sleepover. And even they had their own beds, but for some reason, everybody's just crashing in that room.
The way you say that sounds weird. It's just like this weird like meth fest of like people just passed out everywhere, high off Pepsi, man.
It thinks like that, yeah. If you think back to it, it feels like that.
It does, but yeah, I think
High
we
off
just
of Pepsi and Pixie Stick.
yeah, we just wanted. I think we just liked being around each other, And
Yeah,
so,
that helped too.
yeah, that's a cool story, man. I've known that story, but I think I was even around that time. Like we lived close together,
definitely.
but that's so cool that Ken did that for you guys.
Yeah, it helped out a lot in that time.
That's good. All right, Tomas.
Yeah, for me, I remember this pretty well. My family and I used to take a trip up to Lake Tahoe every now and then over the winter break. And this was when I was a lot younger, like probably like 6 or 7. And we were up at Lake Tahoe, and they got so much snow that night that we were snowed in to the hotel that we were staying at. Like you couldn't get out, like couldn't get the cars out of the parking garages and stuff like that. It was just a disaster. So, anyways, we were staying in the room, and like you were saying, Alan, they had movies that we could rent at this resort that we were staying at, and it was like, okay, so we rented. It was the first Batman movie, the first Tim Burton Batman movie, 1989, and
The real Bruce Wayne.
yeah, and I watched that movie over and over and over and over. Something that you have to understand about me is that I have a little bit of a hyper focus, which means that like I can get transfixed on something and completely enjoy the crap out of it for hours.
Well, I don't know how old you were, but I think everybody at that age, because even when with Skylar, and probably you're gonna have that experience with JJ, I'm sure. Uh, when a kid gets on something, it's just they don't. That's all they want to watch, and they'll watch it until you stop them from watching it.
Yeah, and so yeah, I was just hyper focused on this movie, and I remember my dad essentially had to watch it with me, because there was really nothing else to do, and he wasn't going to get to watch TV because I was watching this movie over and over again. And I think I watched it like 5, maybe 6 times in a
Wow.
row, just over. It'd get done, I'd rewind it, and then you had the time that it took to rewound to do things, and then I'd hit play and just will start watching it
I
again.
forgot about rewinding. What a time
Yeah,
to be alive.
yeah. And my dad sat there with me and watched it every single time, and yeah, I swear I probably watched it 5, 6 times in a row.
That's,
Like I
that's cool.
I started watching it when the sun was up, and I remember like my dad finally drew the line when the sun had finally gone down. So yeah, I had been watching it all day.
There's got to be a limit.
Yeah.
I feel like you do have that focus though, because when you buy a game, you complete it, like, and you get beat it, and like I won't speak for you, Alan, but I jump around to games too much.
I have a hard time. It takes a very special game to really suck me in. But for the most part, yeah, it's the same thing. I get a bit into a game, then I'll move on. But like we talked about Arkham City earlier, the same thing. I mean, not to poke at you a little bit, but I love that game, but I didn't 100% it. I don't know about Kyle. You not only 100, I 100% of the world, but you went through and 100%ed all the freaking combat
Yeah, little
trials.
combat trials.
Which there was no way I was doing that.
That's too. That's
Props. I mean,
that's another level.
yeah, good job.
That's a whole.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, the fact that just speaks to how good the Batman games are, because the fact that I did that over and over, because yes, that was just and Spider-Man was a lot like that too. I completed Spider-Man. Like I went all the way through it. Like it's another really good one.
I did as much as I could. I got 100%. That's as far
Yeah.
as I got.
So real quick, I felt like Spider-Man. We're talking about the PS4 one. I
Yeah.
feel like that's the best Spider-Man game ever made. But the Batman games made me feel like Batman. I did not really feel like Spider-Man as much as I
Yeah.
felt like Batman.
I could see that. I never thought about that. I mean, yeah, I could see that.
Yeah. So that's the difference
I
for
will
me.
agree with you. There was that bit in the Batman games when you just kind of you're like, yes, I'm the one behind the cowl. Like
I'm the Bat.
yeah.
No, I am. Yeah.
I still remember buying the first of those Batman Arkham games from Blockbuster and taking it home and playing that game until they get to the Scarecrow, where like the whole thing glitches out. I thought my game
Yeah.
was broken because I bought it for like dirt cheap. I was like, oh man, what a crappy game! It's all broken, and it was just a stupid game trying to play tricks on you.
When you
Yeah.
know it's a good game, when it actually messes with your real mind.
Yeah.
It was great. It's an amazing game.
Yeah.
And honestly, that game is what gave me a lot of respect for Scarecrow, because even though I'd read a lot of Batman comics, I hadn't read a lot about like Scarecrow ones. And so I always kind of viewed Scarecrow as like, yeah, he's whatever. But yeah, when I was playing the game, and I was like, man, that would be terrifying. Just absolutely, I don't care who you are. That to overcome that every day, every night, like this is just a daily night. This is just ridiculous. Like
That's such a good point to think about. Like I have to hallucinate every other day just to beat this guy.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't even know, man. He's trained for it, but those poor people in Gotham,
I know, right?
they're
That's
dealing
true.
with it too.
That you get used to it, but they're not trained for it, like you said.
Oh my word. Because if you think about it, each of the Arkham games is supposed to be just an 8 to 10 hour period, you know. So you realize
It's true.
that you're playing something that supposedly took 8 to 10 hours in the real world, and that means that this man deals with this every 8 to 10 hours of his life, every single time.
That is discouraging to think about. So, thank you guys for sharing your Christmas memories, and I love hearing that stuff. So, we've reached the end of our Christmas spectacular. So, it is my turn to give a quiz, and this week it's going to be 20 questions. Now, I'm borrowing this theme from another podcast. I'll give them a shout out, right? Why not? We're helping each other, right? It's the Game Scoop podcast from IGN. I listen to them a lot, and at the end of every episode, they have 20 questions. Video game, 20 questions. And I think just for this week, we're going to emulate it, and we're running off an emulator where this is not an illegal copy. We're just running the emulator here. And so here's the rules, though. The first one is you cannot use Google or internet searches because that just ruins everything. Second, you will work together on this one, and I'll explain more later. So you're not working so much against each other. However, only one of you will receive points. Now, since this is a Christmas episode, I figured whoever wins might be willing to give their points to the other person, since, Christmas is all about giving, right? If not, if you guys both want to be greedy, we'll have a lightning round to determine the winner. Now, points are decided by however many questions you have left. So if you guess the video game in 10 questions, then you have 10 questions left. That means you have 10 points to add. If you guess it in 19, that means you get 1 point. Minimum of 1 point, though. So if you guess it on the very last guess, I'll still give you a point for all that hard work you did. This is rule number 3. If you ask the specific game name and you get it wrong, then you're done. Does that make sense? So if you're like, is it this game?
Okay.
And it's not, then that's it. So when you guess the game, you have to be confident that that's it.
All right.
All right?
Okay.
So yeah, again, and then remaining questions will equal points. We'll have a practice round too, by the way. We'll do a quick one just so you can get used to it, and then we'll do the real one.
I think I get it.
Okay.
Alright.
Yeah, I think.
So yeah, so you guys can, bounce off each other or answer questions. You can ask a couple questions, but you can also talk to each other. But make sure you form your question in a form of a yes or no question for me, and just clarify that you're asking it to me, and I'll keep track of your questions. All right, so we'll start with the practice round. I will start a timer just so we don't go over. You'll have, let's do 5 minutes for the practice round.
Okay.
And just feel free to do anything because points don't matter in this one. You guys ready?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, is it on a console before the PS3 generation?
Before the PS3?
Yeah, before the PS3. So PS3, Xbox, and Wii.
No, it is not before those consoles.
All right. Is it on that generation I just asked about?
Yes.
Okay.
Is it a shooter?
No.
Is it an RPG?
No.
Adventure game?
Yes. That's 5.
Okay. All right. Well, let's just cut these out. Is it on the PS3?
Yes.
There we go. Okay. So, is it a Sony produced game?
No.
Is it a zombie game?
No.
Is it exclusive to the PS3?
No.
Is it a Rockstar game?
No. That's 10.
I meant Rocksteady, but I'll add that one now because I messed up.
You wanted to say Rocksteady?
Yeah, but I could just do another question. Sorry, Rocksteady.
Yes, it is Rocksteady.
Okay. Is it in the Arkham trilogy or quadrilogy?
Yes.
Is it themed around Christmas time?
Is it Arkham Knight?
Yes.
It's Arkham Origins.
Yes.
I guessed Arkham Knight. So
yeah, so it's practice round. It's Arkham Origins.
Yeah. Did I say that? I said that, right?
Alan
Yep,
said
that
it,
was
but
yours.
Tomas did say not. He said Arkham Knight first, but this is practice round.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. I was just making sure you heard me.
See, that's
I
what I
cut a
mean,
little
though. Only one of you can guess
Yeah.
the game.
Oh, only
And
one of us
if-
can guess though.
Yeah.
So we got to get more in sync.
So when I say that when you're done, you both are done.
Mm.
That makes sense? Because only one of you is getting these points.
All right. Okay.
All right. So that was easy mode. And you guys did it in less than 3 minutes. So that's good. We're going to go into a little bit harder mode. And are you guys ready? I'm just pulling up the info so I have it.
Yeah.
This is definitely harder. So I'll start the timer, but take as long as you need. You guys ready?
I'm ready. What, Tomas, let's make a honor rule. We'll go back and forth, okay? So unless we want to talk about a question.
Yeah, go for it.
You want
You
to
can
go?
start.
Okay, so I'm going to use the same question I used before. Is it in? I can't remember what number that generation is, but same generation: PS3, Wii, Xbox. Is it before? Is it before? So is it before that generation?
Yes, it is before that generation.
Okay. Is it a cartridge?
Yes.
Okay. Is the game produced by Nintendo?
Is it produced by Nintendo? No.
Is it an arcade fighter?
No.
Is it a game produced by Square?
No. That's 5 questions.
So Square isn't with.
At this time, Square Enix wasn't a thing. It was Square or Enix.
Okay. So is it the other one, Enix?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
No.
Is it a Capcom game?
No.
Is it a racing game?
No.
Is the game on the Super Nintendo?
There is also a version on the Super Nintendo.
Okay, so it
Hopefully
is
that
on the Super
helps.
Nintendo. That's fine. So we didn't clarify. Yeah, so it is on Super Nintendo.
Yes, it is on the Super Nintendo. The one you're guessing may not be. Hopefully that doesn't make it worse.
Well, I still asked if it was a side scroller. So
It is a side scroller.
Okay, this isn't towards you, Kyle. This is towards Alan.
What's up?
Do we want to ask if it has animals in it? Like, does that narrow it down at all?
It's a good one. Actually, that's a good question. I would say an animal protagonist.
No.
Oh, that cuts a lot out. Where I was going down
Yeah.
a Battletoads route, but I feel like I didn't go there. Huh. Side scroller,
So
animal protagonist.
here's what I have so far. We know it's a side scroller. We know it's cartridge. We know it's on the NES, right?
Yeah, it's on the NES, but it's probably on something else as well.
Okay. Did we find out any other yeses?
It's not an animal protagonist, so
Yeah. Not an animal protagonist, not an arcade fighter, not a race car.
not Capcom, because I'm pretty sure that was a question I asked, right? Capcom.
Yeah. Not Capcom.
Which throws me in a loop again.
Not Square, not Enix.
You guys need a hint?
Well, I guess is it published by Konami?
No.
Okay, so not Konami.
I'm starting to feel it. All right. What about Acclaim? Is it published by Acclaim?
No.
I'm starting to feel like it's a Batman game. I don't know.
Let me
That
just
would be
say
a whole lot.
you have the wrong theme, but
It's gonna be it's that stupid Spider-Man one. Then.
Well, you can ask if it's involving Spider-Man or a Marvel property.
Oh, actually,
yeah, you can definitely do that. Yeah.
Is it based around a superhero?
No.
There we go. That was all that window.
Good question. Yeah, that's a good blanket question.
What else we got? Yeah, I'm in a loss. What did you?
Is it a collectathon?
Oh, it is not. That's 15.
Did I ask Konami yet? Did I ask that?
You did. All right, I'll give you one more hint. As far as the theme that I was talking about, we've been talking a lot about it during this episode, and it's not Batman. You already established it's not Batman. So
I'm thinking it's Christmassy themed, but I'm trying to think of like some Christmassy themed games on that
Which I've never
generation
played.
on Sega. I'm going off of Sega or Super Nintendo.
so you have 5 questions and then a guess.
Oof.
Oh man, dude, you might be the only one to figure this one out because I am not putting this together.
Okay, so was it on the Sega Genesis as well?
Yes.
Okay, so it's on Sega Genesis. Trying a pretty heavy blank here.
Everything that I'm thinking of has an animal in it right now.
There's a lot of. Oh, wait. Is it based off a Christmas movie?
Yes.
Okay. I think I'm getting there somewhere. All right. Is the main character based off of Macaulay Culkin?
Yes.
All right, Home Alone 2 probably, as I'm guessing. Throw it out there.
Which one?
Oh God, which one should I go? One or 2? That's a hard one because there's 2 of them.
Okay, wait, go what? No, go 2, because I played 2. I remember 2.
Is it? We
you
have more
have
guesses.
2 more guesses.
Is it based in New York City?
No.
All right, then it's Home Alone 1.
Yes, it is. It is.
All right,
and you got it in
God,
19
it took me
questions.
forever because I was like, and then I realized like there's a ton of movies that had games. It's got to be one of them.
Yeah, that's the big one that I didn't want to just throw it at you right away, but like if you had asked if this is based off a movie or a license at the beginning, then you probably would have went down that path. But you guys did it. You guys got it. Like at one point, I thought you guys were done, but
I did too. I was like, I had nowhere to go.
You got into the flow, and I love that Macaulay Culkin question. So now here's the deal. Alan did think of it, and he kind of finished it off there. So you had a guess and one question, so you get 2 points. Tomas, do you just want to relinquish those points to Alan?
Oh yeah, no, he got it. I didn't. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't even gone down the Home Alone route. So yeah, no, he's got it.
You know what? I'm feeling generous. Go ahead, take 3 points, Alan, for that. Yeah. Merry Christmas.
You. That feels great. So I guess
none for you, Tomas.
But if you're gonna give me 3, I'm gonna give 1 to Tomas, if that's okay, since we're being generous, at least, because he helped a lot.
Oh, look at that!
All right. Well, thank you.
So what are the standings?
Currently, I have 5. Kyle has 4, and Tomas has 5 as well. So we're tied, and then Tomas has 3 right now. So,
all right,
but
underdog. Everyone loves the underdog. Here I come.
I think Alan, you're up next week, or we do every other week. The next podcast, Alan, eventually we would like to get to weekly. It probably won't happen anytime soon. And we recorded this episode early so that you guys had something to listen to. And we just wanted to keep the flow going. So, yay, Merry Christmas to you guys. Hopefully you enjoy it. Hopefully you played along.
Yes, please. I hope you all have fun with that. I love those 20 questions. I listen to a lot of this IGN podcast as well. And so good choice.
Yeah, we appreciate those guys too. They do a lot of great work. So, and that is our show for this holiday season. We'll see you guys in 2021 when all the jokes and memes are saying that year is going to be beautiful.
We'll see.
Everything's going to change overnight, but we'll see you guys then. Hey, Alan, where can you reach us if you want to talk to us?
I'm going to go over this real quick. We got our email. You can go ahead and email us if you want to join our Discord and Discord with us on various topics, or just get our Christmas wishes or memes or whatever either us or our listeners come up with. It's a real fun time. But yeah, so you can get a hold of us, like I said, nerdbackstory@gmail.com. We also have our Twitter @nerd_BS. And you have my Twitter, which is @ScadMatrix. Any of those places, you let me know you want to join our Discord and join us for that fun time. I will send you an invite. So that's where you can reach us. And also, if you're watching this on YouTube, or if you have YouTube, go over there and subscribe and like and even comment. That'd be awesome if you can do that. Thank you very much. So happy Merry Christmas to all, and hopefully we'll see you next time.
Yep. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Happy holidays, and see you guys next year.